Hello everyone, Genki here, and today, as voted by people on Twitter, we're going to try and beat Pokemon Scarlet with only Earthworm. Earthworm is a pure Steel-type Pokemon, with a 480 base stat total. It has an insane 145 base defense, but the rest are numbers we are more familiar with on this channel. The 70 base HP will pair well with our defense, but then there's our 55 base special defense. That worries me a little bit. However, with a base speed of 65, we are neither slow nor fast. Also, with 85 base attack versus 60 base special attack, we're looking at more of a physical set this run, which is good considering our move coverage. By level up, we get a lot of ground, rock, and steel moves. It makes sense since Earthworm is, well, a worm. Our first steel move is at level 21, but we still get a couple good moves before then. By TM, we get access to pretty much every steel, rock, and ground move available in the game, but more importantly, we get Body Press, a move which uses the Pokemon's defense stat versus its attack stat. With Earthworm's defense, this move is a must-have. Now, time for the rules. I can only use Orthworm in battle. No items in battle, only held items and items outside of combat are allowed. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. Let's begin. We start the run at the first Poke Center, because there we could trade in an Earthworm. I named him Alaska, because Alaskan Bullworm wouldn't fit. He's docile in nature, so neutral stat gains, and our ability is Earth Eater. Earth Eater causes ground moves to heal Earthworm. That's one of our 3 weaknesses gone. Alaska is a Pokemon I hatched from an egg, so I did some training to level him up, before challenging Nemona at level 8. I gave Nemona Quaxley, who has Water Gun, a special move that does neutral damage. We got hit twice, before Quaxley went for a single growl, as we took out in 4 tackles. Next up is Palmy. Palmy's Thunder Shock is also neutral damage, so with Terrestrialization, it was doing a lot. However, Mud Slap lowers accuracy with every hit, so after 3 Mud Slaps, Palmy missed his Thunder Shock, allowing us to finish off Palmy with only 5 HP remaining. We can now enter Mezagoza, and head west, where we pick up the TM for Rock Tomb before challenging the first gym, the Bug Gym. Katie leads with Nimble, who survives Rock Tomb, allowing it to go for Double Kick, which gets a crit, causing Alaska to lose a third of his health in just the first turn. Nimble goes down the next turn, and next is Tarantula. Rock Tomb did less damage to Tarantula than Nimble, but its Assurance was only doing 4 HP in damage. It's a 3 KO, and last is Teddiursa. We go for Rock Tomb, and this time we get the crit, taking Teddiursa to half health, while Teddiursa decided to use Fury Swipes, which was only doing 2 HP per hit. Since our first attack was a crit, Teddiursa survived our second Rock Tomb, but it went down the next turn. Following the gym, I decided to head east, and take on our first Titan, Cloth. But we were at level 18, so Alaska now had Bulldoze, which took out Cloth in only 3 turns. For phase 2, I had Alaska start with Bulldoze, but I noticed it also hits Arven's shoulder. The only other move I had was Rock Tomb, which only had 2 power points since I never went to a Poke Center. I decided to use them anyway, and they left Cloth at just above half health, but Shelter had gone for 2 Leers. This allowed us to finish off Cloth in only 2 more turns. Time for the Grass Gym. Alaska was now level 21, so we now had Iron Head, which one-shot Petalil and Smoliv, but only did a third of Sudowoodo's health. Sudowoodo's Trailblaze though was only doing 5 HP in damage, so it easily went down to 2 more Iron Heads. We now had to go back west, to take on our second Titan, Bombardier. Steel resists flying, and we had Rock Tomb, so we easily took out Bombardier in 3 hits, before immediately being forced into phase 2. However, with Arven's Knockley on our side, phase 2 Bombardier went down in 2 turns. With us this far in the story, it's time to go TM hunting, and I kid you not, I was using Cerebi, but I could not find the TM I wanted. I had to watch a video to find out that the team I was looking for, the team for Body Press, was only a few steps away from where I get the team for Rock Tomb. Let's go face the Team Star Dark base, the reason I got Body Press. We start the battle by going for a single Harden, which allows us to one-shot Pawniard and then take out Jimako's Starbeal in 3 hits. Easy peasy. I then tried to do the Team Star Fire base, but the grunt out front's Houndour almost took out Alaska with a single Incinerate. So that's a nope. On to the next city, and into our next Nemona battle. Rockruff and Palmy are both one-shots, but then Quaxwell was a 2 KO with a +1 defense Body Press. Time for the Electric Gem. We outspeed Watchroll and managed to set up 3 Hardens, before Watchroll's Spark managed to paralyze us. We had Cherry Berry to heal the paralysis, but I had Alaska take out Watchroll with Body Press, before Watchroll could paralyze us again. Bellybolt survived Body Press, and used Water Gun, but it went down the next turn. Lexia was a one-shot, and so was Mismagius. Next up is some Earthwormception, because it's our next Titan. Titan Earthworm can't do any major damage to us, so we're able to set up 2 Hardens, before 2-shotting Earthworm with Body Press. For phase 2, we still go for 2 Hardens, but we didn't need to, because with Toad School, our second Body Press was almost not needed. On to the 4th gym, and this was our first roadblock. Veluza, as a Water and Psychic type, resists Steel and Fighting, so even our Body Press was not doing that much damage. I had to go pick up the leftovers, because while Veluza was not doing that much damage, Aqua Cutter is a high crit move. After 2 Hardens, we go for Dig, which does neutral damage, but then it only did a quarter. Veluza then got a crit, but we took Veluza to half health. We finished off Veluza with 2 more Digs, and next is Wugtrio. Wugtrio outspeeds and hits us with Water Pulse, leaving us at below a quarter, but it is a one-shot Body Press. Wugtrio's GUI had lower speed, which is bad because last is Crabominable. Crabominable went for Rock Smash, which took Alaska to 9 HP, but then survived Body Press. We go for Protect to get some health back, but then Crabominable went for Crab Hammer, and Alaska survived on 1 HP, allowing us to finish off Crabominable. Let's go try the Fire Base now. Yeah. How about the Poison Base? Atticus' Skunk can only hit us with Sucker Punch, which only hits if we use a damaging move, so we're able to fully set up all 6 of our Hardens before taking out Skuntank in 2 digs. Red Room outspeeds us, but after 6 Hardens, we're too tanky, so it's an easy 2-shot. Muck is a 3 KO, and last is Atticus' Starmobile, whose Flame Charge was literally only doing 6 HP. We could heal it with a single round of leftovers. It was a 9-hit KO. Let's go do the normal gym next. Kamala's only attacking moves are Sucker Punch and Slam, so we don't need to equip a berry to get rid of the sleep. Instead, we can just power through the sleep, and when we are awake, set up our Hardens. We went for 4 Hardens, before one-shotting every member of Larry's team with Body Press. Immediately following the gym, we have to battle Nemona. Lycanroc outspeeds, but it can only use Bite, as we set up Harden. We set up all 6 Hardens, before one-shotting Lycanroc, Palmo, and Gumi, but then Quaquaval survived on a Sliver. It could barely hurt us, but we had received a lot of damage, because Palmo had hit us with Thunder Wave, and we had gotten paralyzed against Quaquaval twice in a row, before finally being able to take it out. Okay, at this point, we have no choice. We have to take on the Fire Base. However, luck was on our side, and we now had Iron Defense, which means less setup time, and it's raining, so fire attack damage is cut in half. We outspeed Torkoal and set up our first Iron Defense. Torkoal, seeing that we were Steel, goes for Flame Wheel, which only does 2 HP and gets the burn, but that won't do him any good. The rain then stopped, but we were already at +4 defense. We go for one more iron defense, before going for bypress, which Torkoal survives, but there's nothing it can do at this point. It goes down and lasts melee Stormobile. The Stormobile missed its overheat, as our bypress took it to half health. It landed its second overheat, which didn't do that much damage. We then got a low roll on our next bypress, but we were still in green health, so the Stormobile went down. Time for our fourth Titan, Great Tusk, who never managed to hit us with Brick Break as we set up our iron defense. It did do it after the fact, but it is a 2k with bypress. For phase 2, Great Tusk never hit us, as it took out Arven Scavillain in 2 hits. We, on the other hand, fully set up our iron defenses, before going on the offensive and taking out Great Tusk with 4 bypresses. We now had a choice: the Psychic Gem, the Ice Gem, or the Ghost Gem. Psychic is resisted, so I decided to try that first, and we can deal with Ferrigraph just fine. It's what comes after that's the issue. Ispather outspeeds, and its Shadow Ball does quite a bit of damage. Also, it is a 2k with Iron Head. If we manage to get past Ispather, next is Gardevoir, who also outspeeds. If we can get hit, it is a one-shot though. But we just go down the Florges. I decided to try the Quick Claw to see if speed was just the issue. But then we got this run where we made it to Florges and our Iron Head only did that much. Time for the Ice Gem. Frostmoth uses special attacks, so I decided to immediately attack. It is a one-shot with the Iron Head. Next is Beardick, and its strongest move against us is Aqua Jet. This allowed us to set up 2 iron defenses, before one-shotting it and the rest of Grish's team bypress. Well, okay then. Following the 6th gem is another battle with Nemona, and usually this battle is a pain. But guess what? Earth Eater negates Sand Attack. This allows us to easily set up our iron defenses and one-shot Nemona's entire team. Time for the Ghost Gem. Mimikyu and Bennett go first with their priority Shadow Sneaks, which takes out Magikarp, but it barely hurt Alaska as we set up iron defense. We then go for Iron Head, which takes Bennett to below half health. However, I then remembered to Terrastalize as we finished off Bennett. Terrastalizing gives Orthworm an Omni boost, but we were hit multiple times with Icy Wind, lowering our speed. This meant Rhyme's next Pokemon, Houndstone, well at speed, and I know it's going to go for Phantom Force, so I decided to attack Mimikyu, getting rid of its disguise. The next turn, we go for Iron Head on Houndstone, who survives on a quarter. This means we have to take out Mimikyu, since Houndstone will go invisible again. Taking out Mimikyu gives us an attack boost, but Toxtricity, who decided to use its weaker Hyper Voice, survived Iron Head on a Sliver. Toxtricity then went for Discharge, which took out Houndstone, so our next Iron Head wins us the battle. All that is left is the Psychic Gem. Ferrigraph is a 2-hit KO thanks to a crit. We then set up Iron Defense, since the rest of Tulip's team uses special attacks. Also, I re-equipped the Quick Claw. Ispather's Shadow Ball is thankfully doing less damage than before, but we never got a Quick Claw activation, so we got hit twice before taking out Ispather. However, we did get a Quick Claw activation against Gardevoir, who was a one-shot and lasts as Florges. We survived Florges' Moonblast with only 10 HP, as our Iron Head took Florges to half health. However, our Quick Claw then activated, allowing us to finally take out Florges. Time to go take on our last Titan, Dondozo. Dondozo is primarily a physical attacker, so we can set up our iron defenses before going for bypress. What is that animation? That's funny. Well, it takes 2 bypresses to end phase 1. For phase 2, Greedent kept going for takedown as we set up iron defense, so by the time we went for bypress, Dondozo's health was already at 2/3. It still needed 2 bypresses though. Time for Tatsugiri, who has all special attacks, and because of that, It took us a few tries. Dragon Pulse does over 50 HP in damage as we set up Iron Defense. We used Protect to get a little bit of extra health, but then Tatsugiri used Taunt on us, so no more Iron Defenses. We had to go straight to Body Press, and thanks to Tatsugiri focusing on Greta, 3 Body Presses finish off Tatsugiri. Time to finish off Team Star, starting with the Fairy base. Fairy resists fighting, but I still had Alaska set up Iron Defenses, since Ortega's Pokemon were all physical. Ironhead only did a quarter of Azumaro's health, and we got hit with Charm, but we terrestrialized and took out Azumarill in 3 more hits. We only got hit with Charm that one time, thankfully. That one Charm did hurt us though, but Ortega's Pokemon could barely do any damage to us. Dashbun even healed us with Mud Slap before we took it out in 3 hits. Wigglytuff was a 2-hit KO, but then Ortega's Starmie took the last 6 of our Iron Heads. Last is the Fighting Base. And oh boy. Being chonky doesn't do much when dealing with a move that is both super effective and has the same type of attack bonus. We had to do quite a bit of training, including some hyper training, where I maxed out Orthworm's speed and special defense IVs. Yes, special defense, because Eri has this little thing called Lucario. We eventually got this battle against Eri at level 63. We now outspeed Toxicroak and still start with Iron Defense, but Toxicroak's Brick Break is doing less damage than before. We set up all 3 of our Iron Defenses before one-shotting Toxicroak with Earthquake. Passimi is a one-shot with Body Press, but then Annihilate survived Earthquake. The defense drop from close combat caused me to go down the next turn though. Lucario is a one-shot with Body Press, and last is Eri Starmie, who outspeeds and goes for Combat Torque, which gets a first turn paralysis. But that did not really help it, because the Starmie is a 2K with Body Press. Time for the Elite Four. Rika leads with Wishcash, who is a special attacker. However, thanks to Wishcash using Earth Power and a Mighty Water Mist, we were still in full health after setting up Iron Defense. Rika's entire team was a sweep with Body Press. Next is Poppy, but Copperajah cannot hurt us, so her team was the same as Rika's. Time for Larry, and he was an actual challenge. Tropius survived a full power Body Press, but it could barely hurt us. The problem was Staraptor's Intimidate, because the attack drop caused our Rock Slide to be a 3 KO on Altaria, who took us out with Flamethrower. For this battle, I had to go buy the Clear Amulet, which negates Staraptor's Intimidate, but the lack of healing proved to be a problem. We grinded for some levels until we got this run against Larry at level 71. We still set up our Iron Defenses against Tropius, but this time, we terrestrialize and take it out with 2 Iron Heads. We go for Body Press on Staraptor, which was a one-shot since it was neutral damage. Against Altaria, we get a flinch with the Iron Head, so we're able to take it out without getting hit. We go for Rock Slide against Orthworm, since it resists both Body Press and Iron Head, but it survives and goes for Heater Dance. We then hit ourselves with Confusion, and Orthworm uses Revelation Dance, but we take it out the next turn. Last is Flamigo, who survives Iron Head, but it went for Throat Chop? Close Combat would have done more damage, but oh well. Flamigo goes down the next turn. Last of the Elite Four is Hassel. Norvern outspeeds and goes for Super Fang, which always does half of our health, as we set up Iron Defense. Super Fang is not affected by Iron Defense, so Norvern's second one takes Alaska to a quarter health. Thankfully, we had re-equipped leftovers. I decided to have Alaska go on the offensive, but Norvern survived Iron Head. It then went for a third Super Fang as we took it out. Next up is Dragaldi, a special attacker, who we outspeed and flinch, so it goes down without us taking any more damage. Hassel then sends out Haxorus, who is a physical attacker, so we set up our second and third Iron Defenses before one-shotting Haxorus and Flapple. Baxcalibur though survived on a sliver, but it decided to use Brick Break, which barely did any damage, so it went down the next turn. Finally, it's time for Gita. Espather outspeeds, it hits us with the Lumina Crash. I decided to use the Clear Amulet, so no special defense drops as we get hit with the second one. A Spother went down to 2 Iron Heads. Next is Avalug, so we were able to set up our iron defenses. It is a one-shot. Veluza survived Body Press on the Sliver, but Liquidation didn't do that much, so it went down the next turn. Kingambit and Go-Go are both one-shots, and last is Gomora, who we thankfully outspeed and also one-shot. We now have to face Nemona, but Lycanroc only has rock moves and a single ground move, so we're able to easily set up 3 iron defenses. Lycanroc is a one-shot Body Press. Palma is next. It does some damage with close combat, but it was also a one-shot, as was the rest of Nemona's team. That's one story done. Time for Director Clavel. This took some strategizing. We had to immediately attack Oranguru, who survived Iron Head, but thankfully went for Foul Play. We can't get hit with Yawn, because Oranguru's Dream Eater does quite a bit. Oranguru goes down the next turn, and next is Gyarados, whose Intimidate is negated by our Clear Amulet. Against Gyarados, we can more safely set up our 3 iron defenses. Gyarados is then a 2-KO with Rock Slide. Poltergeist is a one-shot. Amogus survived Iron Head, and we activated its Effect Spore, which put Alaska to sleep. Amogus then took Alaska to red health with 2 hexes, but we managed to wake up and finish it off. Abomasnow is a one-shot, and last is Skeleturge, who survived Rock Slide with just above half health, but we got a flinch. This allowed us to finish off Skeleturge with Body Press. Next is Penny, but her team was a sweep with Body Press, except for Sylveon, who we took out with Iron Head. 2 stories done, last is Arven. Greedent's best move against us is Body Slam, so we're able to safely set up our iron defenses before proceeding to one-shot Arven's entire team. With this, we can now go to Area 0, where we have to face AI Sada. In our first attempt, I had Alaska hold a Clear Amulet to negate the speed drop from Slithering's slow sweeps, but the attacks were actually doing good damage. In this attempt, we easily took out Brute Bonnet, Sandy Shocks, and Screamtail, but then Fluttermane's Mystical Fire took us to red health before we one-shot it. Last on Sada's team is Roaring Moon, who, like Fluttermane, outspeeds. Alaska was level 77, so I grinded to level 80. We're still holding the Clear Amulet, and we still set up our iron defenses. Slithering is still a 2-KO. Brute Bonnet and Sandy Shocks are still one-shots. We go for straight for Iron Head on Screamtail, which is a one-shot, but more importantly, Fluttermane's Mystical Fire leaves us on 29 HP versus the 15 HP from before. This is looking good, but then for some reason, Roaring Moon went for Earthquake, which healed us as we one-shot with Body Press. That was anticlimactic, but anyway, we beat Pokemon Scarlet with only Orthworm. Thank you to everyone who watched this video, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe.